This video will just be Aussie and I because this morning at about 5 a.m. we dropped off Ricky at the airport and he is on his way over to Atlanta for work this week. We're actually camped out in Reno for a little while. Ricky has to be here in Reno for work over the course of several months. So we were just hanging out here with the intention of maybe doing some weekend trips, other places for the next month or so. We have been staying at this trailhead right in town. It's popular for mountain bikers. They like to wake us up real early, which I totally understand because it is their town. But the reason we are parked at this trailhead and not at the back of a Walmart parking lot or Home Depot in town is because Reno has an ordinance for vehicle habitation, which means we cannot sleep in our vehicles overnight legally in Reno. This is one of the very few spots in town that you can kind of get away with it. There's no overnight parking signs. It's off the main highway. But that really made me want to make this video about the struggles of van life that people don't talk about, because this is one of them. This is the second city we have been to that we absolutely adore that doesn't allow vehicle habitation, which makes it just that much trickier to enjoy the city and park overnight with some peace of mind that you're not gonna get the knock. So number one struggle that people don't talk about is habitation ordinances. We were recently in San Diego. It's our favorite van life city so far. However, people who did get caught camping overnight in their vehicles, they got up to a $200 ticket. No bueno. I've got to get some errands done today, so I'm gonna take you along and let you know more secret van life struggles. So another struggle that people kind of sugarcoat, I think, a little bit is how difficult it is to actually meet people and how it can get lonely sometimes. I feel like unless you're super extroverted, meeting people is not that easy because you really don't know if somebody else is, you know, in the mood to talk to you, is busy or whatever. It's hard to tell unless people are actually like hanging out outside their van. It's nice having a partner with me on the road. We can keep each other company, but we still sometimes miss that social factor, I think. So a little trick we have found to alleviate some of the pressure of meeting new friends is when we're in a busier campsite or BLM land, leaving our doors open and sitting outside definitely makes you much more approachable, and it kind of takes away the pressure of you having to like confront somebody else, but you look open to receiving somebody approaching you. So just a little trick. Back from a Reno visitor center. I got a couple little goodies for my family. One of my errands today is to send a little care package to my little siblings for Easter. It is super nasty outside, not what I expected to get out of today. I just dropped off that care package for my family, which brings me to another struggle that people don't really talk about, is mail. Though it should be very easy to receive packages on the road with how many resources there are now, there are Amazon lockers everywhere. You can send a package to USPS for pickup if it is sent via USPS, and you can send a package to UPS, I think regardless of the carrier. If it's not from UPS, you just pay a fee of like $5 and you receive your package. This all sounds great, but it only works out as planned about 70% of the time. Especially with Amazon, we have had a lot of bad luck. Shockingly, you would think they would have it down pat. But we've had so many cases where our package said it was delivered and we didn't get it, or we didn't get a code to receive the package out of a locker or from an Amazon hub. So it's been a little bit of a struggle there. And then I have heard with USPS it is very hit or miss. There was one package that I never received. They didn't have it. Luckily, it wasn't something I really needed that badly. But other than that, we've had decent luck. All right, it looks like we're running low on gas, so we're gonna head to the gas station. So gas brings me to my fourth van life struggle, which is gas mileage. Yes, people talk about it. Yes, people say that's their biggest expense, but we really didn't realize how bad of gas mileage our van gets. We get about 11 to 12 miles per gallon, which is awful. A couple ways we alleviate this is we use the app called Gas Buddy, which some people talk about, which is really, really helpful in finding the cheapest gas around. The second thing we do is we avoid filling up our water tank until we are in a place that we know we're gonna hang out in for a while. That way we're not going on long stretches of drive with a full water tank, bringing down our gas mileage. All right, I am going to take my anxious dog out to play some fetch at the dog park. This dog park in Reno is so much acreage. I've never seen a dog park this big. It's huge. Aussie was so muddy from the dog park. I should have known with how much it snowed earlier that it was not a good idea, but I did it anyways. Since we are in Reno for a little while, we have been keeping a full water tank. We found a gas station in town that offers free water with gas, which is great. But that brings us to struggle number 5, because it is not always easy to find water. It's kind of annoying because even on iOverlander, people just don't specify if there's a spigot, if it's a threaded spigot, if you can use your own hose. And for us, we have a stationary water tank. It's a 34-gallon water tank sitting in our garage. We use our hose to tie it up to a spigot and place it in a gravity fill entrance to fill up our water. Most of the places on iOverlander for water are simply grocery stores that you can fill your water jugs with and take them back to your van. And we were struggling so much with how to find water a few times that we Googled it, and it was like so funny but like annoying at the same time, because on Google people are like writing blogs saying, oh, it's so easy to find water, just use a friend or family's house. We're traveling on the road. That's not an option. That's not an option. But that's something I just feel super misleading in the van life world when people talk about finding water. It's really not as easy as people make it seem. The best luck we have found with potable water is travel centers, gas stations like Pilot, Flying J. Sometimes those have spigots at the pumps. The other places are visitor centers and ranger stations. They usually have free spigots that you can hook up to. The problem is these things just aren't always super convenient. If you're in a town, there's likely not a travel center for quite a bit. You probably have to jump on the highway. And if you want a visitor center or a ranger station, you likely have to be near a national park or state park, something of that nature. If we were to build a van again, we would definitely leave room in the garage for what our friend told us about, which is a foldable 6-gallon water jug that you can unfold, fill up, and then it has a spout on it that you can dump into your gravity-filled fresh water tank. And we have that option to fill up at a Walmart or a grocery store and fill our tank up that way. Number 6 is what I like to call recycler's dilemma. If you're like me and you like to recycle and you plan on being a van lifer, well, get ready for this struggle. We have our garbage bin and our recycle bin. I believe each are 2.5 gallons. I could be wrong. We can put a lot of recycles in there. The issue is that it fills up faster than we can dump it. We really struggle finding a place to dump our recycles. Anytime we see the opportunity to recycle, we take whatever is in that bin and throw it in the recycle, because we don't know the next time that we'll find a place to recycle. Like I mentioned in the last struggle with the water, ranger stations and visitor centers usually always have recycle bins and you can recycle there, no problem. National parks, great, but you're not always at them. But I wish that was something that was easier to find. I feel like next to every public trash can should be a recycle bin. That should just be how it goes, but unfortunately, we're not quite there yet. You might have noticed the clothes on the bed earlier, but we went to a laundromat yesterday and did our laundry, so we have a couple things that we need to find room for. But this brings me to struggle number 7, trusting laundromats. Being on the road, constantly using new laundromats, you're really putting your trust in them. Luckily, we've only had one bad experience so far. We really try to find laundromats that look reliable, have really good reviews, but regardless, you're not always gonna have a great experience. A few times ago, we had several of our shirts shrink, and that led to us donating them, or for me, my shirts are oversized, so they just fit like normal size now. But that's just kind of a bummer when you already have limited clothes and then that happens. But that's just a trade-off of van life and living on the road. To alleviate some of this, now we wash everything on low heat and tumble dry it on low. Some shirts we even put on delicate, and I'm sure this helps a little. All right, I'm getting hungry, so I'm gonna make a sandwich, but I have more struggles. Struggle number 8 is gray water tank. Our gray water tank is, I think, around 6 gallons. It's not very big, it fills up very fast, especially when we do our dishes, but the problem is finding a safe and reliable place to dump it. I believe if you use biodegradable soap and toothpaste, everything that goes into your sink, you can dump on patches of dirt or rocks where there's no vegetation, but I don't know if that's recommended or not. I'm really not sure. One really good place that we have found to dump is at marinas. They usually offer free dumping, and there's just a drain we can pull right up to and dump at. Speaking of drains, it is absolutely not okay to dump in city drains, as those are flood drains meant for rain, and those drain into rivers and natural water sources, so absolutely not okay. All right, I'm gonna give you some real honesty with struggle number 9 here. Summer van life really sucks, and I mean like really sucks. When it is blazing hot outside and it is so sunny, your van is just baking. It is impossible to cool down. We have our AC unit, but it's still not enough. On those hot summer days, we can maybe get it down to 85 in here, but it's not comfortable. It just isn't. That's a great thing about being on the road, and for the most part, going where we want to go, when we want to go there. We can kind of chase the weather and alleviate a lot of this naturally. And since it's been snowing here in Reno today, why don't we just get into struggle number 10, which is van life winter sucks harder, in my opinion. Luckily, it's a very manageable temperature here in Reno. If it was covered in snow, that would be another story. But both extremes of summer and winter are very uncomfortable in the van. The reason I say winter van life is worse is a few reasons. One, it is so messy. It's so messy. Think about how messy snow is and how much mud you drag into your home when it is snowy outside. Anytime we have to let Aussie out, we bring her back in, we have to wipe her paws down. The floor just gets so gross so quickly, even quicker than usual. But this isn't even the main thing, because that's a very manageable annoyance. The really big issue for us with van life winter is the risk and the price you have to pay if something goes wrong inside your van. What I mean by this is frozen pipes, busted motors of water heaters. There's just a lot that can go wrong and a lot that can cost you a lot of money. We had things break on multiple occasions during our first winter van life. The first instance was while we were staying at my mom's house. We had the van parked outside. We put some antifreeze inside the gray water tank just to ensure it would not freeze in there. And we also drained our faucets. But that still wasn't enough because water still somehow came through. We had a large icicle coming out of our filtration spigot, and we didn't realize that there was water sitting inside the 5-stage water filter, which makes sense. However, how the hell do you get that out of there? It's impossible. That water froze inside, busted the 5-stage water filter, and that was a $70 replacement. All right, camera battery died. So on the second occasion, we were staying in a Walmart parking lot overnight during a snowstorm. Because we were planning on running the heater all night, we didn't think it was necessary to drain the water lines. It still got so cold that the pipes did freeze and our drinking water faucet did crack. That was a $40 replacement, and the fuse to the gray water switch was also blown. The third time was a bit of a doozy. We did our due diligence, drained the lines, and that still was not enough. We didn't know, but there was water running in the line from the water tank to the hot water heater to our outdoor shower that we had never used. So even though we weren't using it, water still fills the line. The water heater did bust and no longer worked. We had to replace our outdoor shower, and that was roughly $150, $160. But my number 11 struggle that people just don't talk about enough is the oh so bittersweet composting toilet. We keep our composting toilet in this big drawer, latch it with a hook, pull it out, voila. This is what it looks like. That's the pee tank, and there is where you poop. And truthfully, the composting toilet is not as gross as a non-van lifer might think. I promise. It does not smell one bit when it is inside the van and hooked up to its air hose that ventilates the air outside of the van. However, it sure does smell when you dump your pee. What really sucks is that as a couple, we have to dump our pee tank every 48 hours. When you take it out, it does smell awful. On top of that, if you do not clean it regularly, urine will cake up inside of the pee tank. It's disgusting. Luckily, the pee tank really is worse than the composting. The difference is that the compost is really inconvenient to dump. Seriously. Yes, it's pretty easy and straightforward. You just take a trash bag, dump the compost inside the trash bag, throw out the trash bag, whatever, put it back in your van. But it's not quite that simple. When you are ready to dump the compost, you have to remove the entire toilet and bring it outside. And let me tell you, when it is full, it is heavy. I don't know how I would do it if I was in the van by myself. Dumping the compost is quite a bit different than dumping the pee tank, because at least with the pee tank, you just wait till it's dark out, you dump it outside in a bush, nobody sees you, it's quick, simple, done. As long as you don't take prescription medication, that is a-okay. You kind of need daylight with the composting toilet. You have to remove the entire toilet, bring it outside, detach it, wrap a bag around it, dump it, make sure you're getting everything, and then wiping it out, yada yada yada. You also have to be near a dumpster or a trash can because you have to dispose of it afterwards. You don't want to bring that back inside your van. Yeah, it doesn't smell, and it doesn't even smell when you dump it, but you know it is dirty poop. It is dirt and poop. You don't want to bring that back in your van. So we have really struggled with finding a spot where we can take the compost toilet out, have a little bit of privacy where people aren't seeing us dump our poop. We have literally had to do this at the back of a Home Depot parking lot, trying to get in a parking space where nobody would see us and we could do it on the side of the van. This is kind of a struggle, but at least we don't have to worry about it nearly as often as the pee tank. We only have to dump it every month or so. I feel like there are probably more struggles that I'm not thinking about at the moment, but this is all I got for now. If you did like this video, please hit the subscribe button and give us a little like. Next week, we're super stoked because we will be installing a swivel seat on our driver seat. Cannot wait. Thanks for watching, and we hope to see you there.
Said I gotta run away, get away now. Too many games and they all trying to play out. Too many people and they all start to change now. Let me take a bet, they gon' know my name now. Yeah, we came a long way, but it's one way. Got a long way to go, like it's Monday. Someday gotta be in LA. No, I gotta make it work out like chess day.